Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Jordan Davis Podcast. I am your host, Jordan Davis, and on today's episode, we have quite a few things to talk about. I think it's mostly going to be about Star Wars. It has mostly to do with the rise of Skywalker, and I wanted to also talk about what Daisy Ridley said about the Force Bond at D23. That has been really making me thinking lately about how the fourth Bond and how J.J. Abrams is going to use it. So, yeah, a lot of things to talk about in the podcast today, so let's get right into it. So, I think the first thing I'm going to talk about in concerning Star Wars was a preview of the Supreme Leader Snoke comic came out, and it really went into Snoke and BenSolo, who is Kylo Ren, went to Dagobah, where Luke met Yoda. And we all know how that went down and everything, and how what he went through on that planet. So I thought it was very interesting that a Snoke comic was mainly focused on Ben Solo. And when you look at this comic, Ben Solo looks so young. I swear he looks even younger than Adam Driver portrays him to be. I felt like he was like a teenager when you look at this comic and you look at these panels. It's truly amazing, just the arts and just how this person drew Kylo Ren, drew Ben Solo, about him having to face his fears, have to face the one thing that's holding him back. And when you read these panels and you see how afraid he is of Luke Skywalker, it totally makes sense of the Luke Skywalker and the Ben Solo fight on Crate in The Last Jedi. That he is finally facing his own monster. He's finally facing his own fears. Not just a vision, not just some kind of dream like kind of thing. He's actually facing him after all these years of what he did to him, betraying him. The one person he thought he could count on betrayed him the most. And I really thought it was interesting right after seemingly he conquered his fear. At the end of the comic, Snoke said, "If I had my choice, I would have Luke Skywalker at my side instead of you." And now that really brings in the whole abusive relationship that he had over Ben. Not just physically that we saw in The Last Jedi, but mentally abusive he was. And that should only tell you how many more times he was mentally abusive to him. And that should show you just how much of a villain that Snoke is and how much of Kylo Ren is not the villain. He never was the villain. And I think Adam Driver was right. He never saw him as a villain. And I think that's true. Because everything that Ben Solo / Kylo Ren was going through all his life, even when he was in his mother's womb, he was getting attacked. He was getting manipulated. Everything. It was all because of Snoke. And I think that makes it even more victorious of what he did in The Last Jedi. He finally defeated his master. He finally rise above Snoke, as the next movie in the Skywalker saga is called Rise of Skywalker. But that can mean many things. But I think it's really interesting that they are putting out this comment that they're not even trying to be coy about Ben Solo's redemption or Bendemption. You're not even trying to hide it. And that's why I'm 1,000% sure that the foregone conclusion, we're getting Ben Solo's redemption. How is that going to turn out? I have no idea. There's many ways it can go, many ways of the paths it can lead to. But personally, for me, I've said this before and I'll say it again. His redemption path will not be like Vader's. I said this on last week's episode. He cannot be like Vader. His redemption cannot be another death by redemption, right? He cannot die. One that's been used thousands of times. He sacrifices his life so he can be redeemed. Everyone is doing that. I want to see a story where he redeems himself but still lives. Because you defeated that big evil and you found that redemption, your redemption isn't done yet. I want Ben Solo to keep working on his redemption. Yeah, for story's sakes on the big screen, it will finish like Yeah, he's redeemed and now he's moving forward. But let's go deep into it. We have an opportunity here to go deep into BenSolo's redemption, dealing with all the things that he dealt with throughout the years, that he's still dealing with that, and that it's an on battle of redemption that he has to go through. Each and every day he is fighting for his redemption. And now that he has Rey beside him, Rey can help him. And you can go further in that into books, comics, however you want to, but I truly believe that whatever happens in this movie, I think it's basically confirmed. I would say, because anything can happen in movies, they can switch things up. But to be honest with you, I'm 95% sure we're getting Ben Solo's redemption. And I think that 5% is kind of like, I'm not sure what they're going to do if he's going to live or die. I think it's a good idea to defer from Vader that he lives. He keeps the Skywalker bloodline going. And I think that would be a great idea to do because you can do so many things, even if you're not going to put Ben Solo's story on the big screen again. Maybe it'll be on the Disney Plus. Who knows what they're gonna do with Ben Solo after the Rise of Skywalker if he survived. But there's so much you can do if he does survive, and you can tell more of his story. So I thought that comic preview of the Supreme Leader Snoke was very interesting because I was expecting maybe some kind of background of Snoke, but this was mainly all about Ben Solo, and I was truly surprised, and I actually loved it. This just gives me even more credence that Bendemption is happening. Ben Solo's redemption is coming very soon in this movie. I just don't know how it's going to happen. I think that's with all of us. We don't know how Ben's story is going to end, but hey, I'm fully excited about it, to be perfectly honest. So now that I talked about that, next topic of Star Wars news. There was a little rumor going around that this Star Wars Rise of Skywalker full trailer coming out sometime in October, rumored to be rated already, rumored to be cut together and be ready to play whenever Disney wants to release it. So that's pretty exciting, but as a couple of days went on, it was kind of false because it was really talking about the D23 special look. So it was like, oh, okay, but still fully expect that trailer to come out around October. It's probably gonna come out on Monday or something during Monday Night Football. And and other thing I always think it's funny with how Disney promotes their full Star Wars trailers. They make the Star Wars fans and the Reylo fans and any kind of fans of Star Wars, they make them watch football to watch a Star Wars trailer. I think that's just funny to me, and to really think about it, it's kind of smart as well. Like you're gonna watch one of our products, so you can see the product you actually want to watch. So I think that's just funny and how they do that. That's how they make Star Wars watch football, and they probably most of Star Wars fans don't know nothing about football. But so yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for when this full trailer comes out because there's so many leaks and so many discussions and so much speculation of what is going to happen in this movie. What is Rey's parentage? How it's all going to end? Is Ben Solo going to live? Is Ben Solo going to be redeemed? I think this full trailer, I don't know how long it's going to be, but I truly believe it's really gonna settle something and it's gonna really squash some rumors. I truly believe that. And I think after we see that, it's really gonna set on a good course of what we should expect and what we shouldn't expect. Because this is gonna be the last trailer, the last full trailer you ever see for a Skywalker saga movie. It's gonna be the last one. So I think in that itself, it's going to be special. So yeah, I'm just really excited for that trailer. I'm excited to see more of what they reveal in that trailer for Ben, Rey, mainly those two because they're in the center of this whole sequel trilogy. And you know my feelings about the whole Rey and Ben. I believe they're gonna go really Reylo on this. I believe they should just play up the romantic tension of it in this movie because if they are going to fight Palpatine. And if they're gonna fight together, you really have to play up that romantic tension that they're in this together, live or die, they're gonna be by each other's side. Or if they are gonna fight towards the end, fight each other, which I never thought it made sense that they're gonna fight each other while they fighted each other in the beginning of the movie. But if they are going to do that, you gotta have that romantic tension. You have to be so dramatic, even more dramatic than the first fight, because they've came a long way from that first fight in the beginning of the movie. So I think it's really going to be interesting what exactly J.J. Abrams gives us, because he said about the Caesar roll that we got at D23. In his mind, he really didn't even show much, and that just tells me what the heck is J.J. Abrams holding? What is he holding back? What is in that mystery box of his? Is Anakin gonna be in this movie? Is Anakin in some way going to help Ben and Rey? Is he gonna resurrect Ben? So many things could happen in this movie that they could show in this trailer. But I have to say this, if they do have Anakin in this movie, I don't want him to be in the trailer. Yes, it would be a big explosive pop, big excitement. People would be screaming out their lung and just be chanting, Anakin's back, Anakin's back. But I think if you're going to do that, just tease him. That's all. Because I want that experience to be in the movies. I want Hayden Christensen as Anakin on the big screen once again. He started it, and let's finish it with him, right? So I think if they are going to do that, I just want him to be teased. However they're going to do it, just want it to be teased. If they're going to do that, and if he is in the movie, and he helps Rey and Ben somehow in some way defeat Palpatine. So, but I still believe that the trailer will come out in October. Sometime in October, I think. But the new trailer being rated is a false alarm. So I would just wait, and I'm sure the trailer will be rated soon. It will be coming out soon. And I'm sure it's going to be great, and I can't wait to talk to you about it on the podcast. So now to the last topic. I wouldn't say last topic, I would say second to last topic of Star Wars. I really want to get into what Daisy Ridley said about the Force Bond at D23. Yes, I know D23 has come and gone, but recently this week I had some time to think about it. What she said about the Force Bond. She said the Force Bond is it's like everlasting FaceTime. There is no disconnected moment with their Force Bond. So I was thinking maybe her shutting the door wasn't severing the Force Bond, because she can't sever the Force Bond. If she severed the Force Bond, maybe that Force Bond is so big that if she severs it, it's like committing suicide in some kind of way, like causing her to die in some way or possible. If she doesn't have full contact with this other part of this bond, it will drastically hinder her in some way. And I was just thinking, what if, however time has passed with The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker, what if they have been seeing each other all the time? They know this each other, they've seen each other, but they just haven't been talking to each other. Maybe they talk just a little bit, but not really at the length that they did in The Last Jedi. Because I was thinking about that. It's like, are they all of a sudden going to reconnect that Force Bond from The Last Jedi? And what would cause it to come back up again? So I think it would be really cool if they've been connected all this time after The Last Jedi and after Crate, and just they haven't been talking. They've just been seeing each other. It's like looking into the mirror. I think that would be very interesting. That in The Rise of Skywalker, the first time that we really see dialogue between them since The Last Jedi, and a Force Bond would be in the last movie. I think that would be very interesting and very cool that they've been connected all this time, because I think most of the Star Wars fandom and even the Reylos die. Oh, they're probably not going to be talking until The Rise of Skywalker, and that could still be the case. But I was just thinking of those comments and just thinking, they have connection all the time. It's like FaceTime in space. They can never be disconnected, no matter how far away they are, or how, or how close they are. they will always be connected and they will always feel each other through the Force. And they can always talk to each other through the Force if they wanted to. They can touch each other through the Force. Obviously, that's what we're seeing, I believe, in the sizzle reel. I believe that big water fight on the Death Star ruins is through a Force bond fight. Some people are calling Force flash fights. So that could be how they fight there through their Force bond. Like they can actually touch each other through the Force. They can feel each other through the Force. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. If they're gonna do that, if J.J. Abrams is gonna go that deep and that far into expanding the fourth bond, that's just gonna make me excited and curious. What exactly is this gonna look like, and what are the rules of it, and how is this all going to shape out, and how they might use this power against Palpatine when they fight Palpatine together, and how will it look? Because that's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, tell me what you think about. I want your feedback. What do you think the Force bond is going to be increased? How do you think J.J. Abrams is going to change or enhance it? It seems like he's going to enhance it to me. But tell me your comments. Give me your feedback about all the things I've talked about in the Star Wars news about Bendemption, about the Snoke comic, about what Daisy Ridley said, and about what are you expecting from the new trailer whenever it comes out. I would love to hear what you all think. So now before I go, I did say I wanted to talk about one last topic. Now, if you haven't heard about a big trending thing going around in the Star Wars fandom, is this Twitter user called Mar, and she live tweeted her reactions to seeing Star Wars for the very first time. Now, people that are in the Reylo community know about Mar very much, and how she was tweeting about how she loved everything about Star Wars, and how just experiencing it and just her reactions of it was so amazing. In my opinion, I felt like I was watching Star Wars again as well, and how she was reacting to the prequels, to Soul. I don't think she saw Solo yet, but to Rogue One, and to the sequel trilogy, and to how she experiencing watching the Reylo scenes as well. It really reminded me the first time I was watching those Rey and Ben scenes when I first saw those scenes. It really just gave me joy. It really just actually wanted me to watch The Last Jedi again. Wanted me to watch all the movies again because it just gave me a renewed joy that I might have forgot I had for Star Wars, because I always loved Star Wars. Always, I was always been a big fan of the sequel trilogy. I'm so excited for the Rise of Skywalker. But I think I kind of forget just how much Star Wars excites me by this one live tweeting from Mar. And I just thought it was wonderful, and I'm so excited that she's in the Star Wars fandom. She's in the Reylo fandom. I'm just ecstatic that she is in this group. And yes, she has been catching some incredible negative responsive stuff. But she's also gained a lot more positive people that are here to support her along with me. I am here to support you, Mark, because I am just as a big fan, as a Star Wars fan, a Reylo fan as you. And I just want to say thank you for joining the Star Wars fandom. Thank you for being such a positive light in this fandom. Your positivity has truly been amazing. It's been great. And I am so excited to see more of your reactions, especially your reactions to the Rise of Skywalker. So I just want to say, welcome to the fandom, welcome to Reylo, and I'm glad you're in this fandom. So we could all react to the Rise of Skywalker. We could all react to BenSolo's redemption and Reylo finally coming to pass. So so thank you, Mar, and welcome. So I guess that's gonna be all I have to say on this podcast. That's going to be everything for this episode. So I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you have an awesome and fantastic and blessed week. Until next time, see you all later.